let me take you on a tour of the history of the Porsche 911, starting with the 1963, the Porsche 911, the very first model. And you can see all the iconic shapes that has been carried out all over the heritage have been introduced here, for example, with the round headlamps and also this very strong design here around the headlamps. Same also goes for the interior with the round instruments and the horizontal stress of the whole dashboard. So-called F model as well. Then this one here, the second generation, the so-called G model, was developed alongside safety regulations. You can see here the very strong front bumper, especially came those, safety regulations from the US, even with some dampening mechanism here for the crash then in the front and for the rear. Also with an updated interior, interesting seats here also with integrated head restraints. This one here, the so-called G model. This one also the very first one that had a turbo in the top trim spec. Then came the 964, the third generation. Here you can see it's more aerodynamic because this was the dawn of the age of aerodynamics. Very interesting as for that, with the very strong shoulders. And this one here, this basically has a chassis of the turbo. You can see that here with the very, very strong shoulders in this case. And also, again, a more modern interior. But technologically, there haven't been so many changes. Well, it has an adaptive rear wing also as for aerodynamics. Then the 993, the fourth generation. This one was very interesting because it was the last air-cooled engine. Therefore, also one of the most sought after ones. So this one here is, becoming more and more expensive for sure, I can tell you. Also again with the classic shape, but you can see here the headlamp unit is a little bit flatter than it has been before. A lot of people think that this one is the most beautiful one. What do you think? Which one is the most beautiful one to you? And then towards the 90s, end of the 90s, also Porsche was really having a struggle financial-wise. And so they decided to put the Boxster and the 911 on the same platform and also have those special headlamps. This is also already the facelift. It was yellow before, and then it really looked, like an egg in a pan, so-called Spiegelei headlamps in Germany. So a lot of fans were not really keen on that one. It was also the very first one that was water-cooled, so a lot of new technology in this vehicle. But at the end of the day, you also have to see that this vehicle really saved Porsche because it was a financial success. This one here, the internal code for that is 996. This one here then is the 997, the sixth generation. Again with those round headlamps, so they went back to that scheme. Fans really appreciated that. Technology-wise, this one was the first one with the PDK, with a Porsche dual clutch transmission. There were automatic gearboxes before that, but then they were converter gearboxes. Pretty interesting. Then moving towards the 2000s already now, this one here, now it's the predecessor generation as we have the all-new model. This one here, the 991. And what's the main difference then to this one? Well, not sure if you can see it on camera. The wheelbase has been lengthened, so this one here has a bigger stance in length on the road. Also some more room on the interior. And of course all the infotainment stuff. This one, so more changes on the interior for sure. And finally we get to the 992, the all-new model. We have that full review here on Autogefühl, and you can see that they went back to the retro styling, especially with the angular shaped front hood right there. You can find in one of the very early models.